maybe it's just this photo shoot, but you look kind of sad and unhappy. And were you mostly unhappy, or were you really happy in the Spice Girls days?
I think it was a bit of a roller coaster. So there was good times and bad times. You know, it was an amazing experience, but it was hard. It was hard work, and yeah, you know, it's tough being in a band. It's a lot easier to be the boss. And that's kind of what I am now. So I am happier now. I'm happier with my music now. I'm happier with my life now, you know, my personal life. So yeah, I'm definitely a lot happier than those days, but I still enjoyed it, you know.
What about the years between these two pictures? I mean, it's like approximately 10 years between like Sporty Spice and the Melanie C that's sitting in front of me now. I was looking at a lot of pictures of you on the internet, and some of them made me like really emotional because you looked sad and you looked really sick also. How has the period been for you? What are the downsides of all this fame, and how has it affected you?
Yeah, I think everybody's different, and everybody's affected differently. You know, unfortunately for me, after my time with the Spice Girls, it was so hectic, and we were exhausted. We were burnt out, you know, and I hadn't been looking after myself properly. I hadn't been eating properly. I was underweight in the Spice Girls, and a reaction to that was, you know, I suffered with depression, and it took me a long time to really overcome my eating disorders. So I've had some battles and some struggles. I think probably from, you know, 2000 till about 2003, really. That was the most difficult period for me. But I've been very lucky, having lots of support from family and friends, and, you know, my doctor was fantastic, and having, you know, going to therapy and talking about things. So, you know, it was a struggle, and it was hard, and it was long, and it was boring, and it was frustrating, but eventually, you know, I got myself well and fit. And I never believed that you could be totally free of some of my fears and worries, but you can, because I did it. And if anybody out there, you know, suffers with similar things, you know, I just hope that I can give you hope and say that it is possible to be 100% better.
But do you think maybe it also has to do with that you weren't allowed to be totally yourself? Because I'm thinking that you seem like a very like free spirit and like humorous at times, and other times you just want to sit and maybe like be a little sad or something, I don't know. But in the Spice Girls, maybe you had this like role you were given, and you're supposed to be like this all the time. Or were you just extra sensitive? But I refuse to think it's just because of you.
Yeah, you know, the roles that we had weren't necessarily given to us. We were like that anyway. But, you know, we definitely played up on those things. I think it was definitely more of, you know, the dramatic life change, being, you know, overworked and all these things. But, you know, there was definitely some bullying that went on within the band. So it was never really anything external.
But when I think it's difficult to know what to believe, because a lot of things are written, especially with like Live Aid. Things were written about you not wanting to reunite and la 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 la. I mean, what's the deal with Live Aid? Because it seemed like you were the only thing stopping the Spice Girls from reuniting.
Well, that is completely wrong, and I'm very upset if that's what people think. I was so excited to perform at Live 8. Make Poverty History is such a fantastic campaign, and to be asked by Bob Geldof, you know, it's an honour, and I would want nothing more than to be on that stage with the girls. I thought it was a great opportunity to, you know, to help raise awareness. It wasn't me, it was Melanie B that couldn't do it. I don't know whether there's been a little mix-up, obviously,
with the letters.
Yeah, with the two Melanies, and I believe Melanie wanted to do it also, but she couldn't. She had, you know, she had a commitment she couldn't get out of. So, you know, any of those, I'm very happy to be able to quash any of those rumours. It's completely untrue. I was 100% there.
What if you could go back, when you look back at the two pictures in the 10 years, if you could go back and change anything, would you?
Yeah, I think so. I think I would. You know, I think we learn so much, and people say, oh, have no regrets. And it's not worth dwelling on things, but I definitely would have changed things. And you know what? The biggest thing I would have changed, I would have never started dieting. I would never started messing with food, because that was really a difficult problem to overcome.
The biggest boy band ever, Take That, has just made a documentary about, and they reunited for the documentary with Robbie Williams and a greatest hits album. So what about the Spice Girls? Are there a reunion in the mix?
Not really. It's our 10th anniversary of the release of Wannabe next year. And, we've often talked about wanting to do something, not necessarily a performance or even anything public. We thought it'd just be nice to get together and have a little celebration. We're all still friends, and I love the girls dearly. We all care about each other so much because we went through something so unique. So I'm sure, in the future we will talk about the past and we will get together and all these things, but there's no plans at the moment.
It would also be strange now you're like a successful, strong woman with the third album and your own record company, and then if you should go back and be like Sporty Spice, that would be wrong in a way.
It would be kind of weird. It'd be interesting to see if my personality reverted back, because I was a lot quieter in the band, because there were very strong characters in the band, and I'm not really an extrovert. So I if other people are being loud, and I tend to be quite quiet.
If you look at the other Spice Girls here in almost 2006, which of them now has surprised you the most when you look back at how they were back then, the development? Yourself or?
None of the girls really. I think everybody now is happy with what they're doing. I don't think anybody's changed that much. I'm very proud of Victoria and her designing, because I know how much she loves fashion. Everybody does.
No, but I mean Victoria being a mother of 3 with David Beckham at her side. And
yeah, I suppose that's weird, but because I've kind of, seen the whole process, to be honest with you, what happened to us, nothing is surprising now. The whole success of the Spice Girls was so mind-blowing that anything that happens, you can just take it in your stride. But I suppose, I'm surprised that Melanie and Jerry live in LA. I mean, that's kind of weird. But, Emma's, still the same old lovely Emma. And, yeah, I don't think anybody has really surprised me. The personalities have never changed.
And maybe she's also getting older. I read somewhere in an interview, she said that she wanted to quit the miniskirts. Now she's getting too old for miniskirts.
Yeah. Believe it when I see it.
That's like her trademark, so... Well, when you sit New Year's Eve and look back at 2005, what would you say are the biggest Melanie C experiences in this year?
Okay, well, actually, being here in Aalborg and performing at a Christmas show here, and singing with an orchestra, and it's something I've only done once before, so this is very special and a great opportunity for me. I've got some family here as well, so that's always very nice.
You have family, like not living in Denmark?
No, they've come over to see me.
Who is it?
It's my mum and my grandma and my stepdad.
That's really wicked. Yeah. How are they reacting to Denmark? Have they been in Europe before, like in Denmark, Scandinavia?
Oh yeah, my family are all big travellers. They love to go and experience different cities. So first time here in Aalborg, so they're going to do some sightseeing today. But I thought it was really nice for my grandma to come, because singing with an orchestra, quite often I'm singing in sweaty clubs with a big rock band. That's not really the nicest place for her to come and see me. So this is perfect. So this has been a wonderful experience of this year. I've been very lucky. This album's doing really well, and of course having a #1 in Germany and Switzerland, and the album, it's becoming more and more popular. So I feel that this year really has been the launch pad for 2006, because I think that 2006 is going to be a really good year.
Yeah, that was my next question. What about next year? What are your plans and what are your dreams?
Well, in January, I think I'm probably going to start promoting over in France, because we're going to be releasing the album there in the new year. Canada is looking good as well. Releasing new singles. My next single here, early next year, will be First Day of My Life. So, yeah, just more of the same. Couple more singles off the album, some great videos, more touring, and I'll do festivals through the summer. And then I'll get back into the studio and start working on album #4.
What about First Day of Your Life? I mean, if you say that the songs are written with like your feelings or maybe your experiences, what's that song about?
Well, this song was actually written by Guy Chambers and Enrique Iglesias. So
What?
I know, cool, isn't it? It was a song actually, because it's not on the album at the moment, because it came after the album was finished, and it was I was asked to sing a theme tune for a TV show in Germany, and because they loved Better Alone and they wanted it to be Better Alone, but lyrically it didn't really work. So we had to find the perfect song. So we were looking around for songs, and I work with Warner Music over there, and they were presented this song that Guy had written with Enrique. And lyrically it's perfect, emotionally it's perfect, you know, musically as well. It's very uplifting, it's very positive, and we just thought, that's the one. And I love the song because it's also been recorded in Italian by Andrea Bocelli.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's really nice to be able to do my own interpretation of the song. So we recorded it, it turned out great, and that was my #1 hit, my first #1 hit in Germany, because I Turned to You only got to #2, so this has been my biggest ever hit in Germany.
Well, ever since you said Enrique Iglesias, I've had his body in my head. So, did you meet him or what?
I didn't meet him, no, the song was already written, unfortunately, but I'm sure that our paths will cross. You often, you know, see lots of different artists, so I look forward to seeing him and just thanking him, you know, for writing such a great song.